In the movie, Dead Poets Society, the character Neil Perry struggles with the expectations that his father and society have for him. He ultimately decides to follow his dreams of becoming an actor, even though it means going against his father's wishes and breaking societal norms. The movie presents his decision as a brave and courageous act, rather than a sign of cowardice. There is this idea that those who are obedient to rules are cowards. It is, unfortunately, a misconception that has been prevalent in many societies. This belief stems from the idea that obedience to rules is a sign of timidity or a lack of courage. However, in reality, obedience to rules is not always a negative trait. Being obedient to rules is not synonymous with being a coward. Mahatma Gandhi was a leader in the Indian independence movement. He was known for his strict adherence to the principles of non-violence, which he believed was necessary to achieve his goals. Gandhi's commitment to non-violence was seen as a sign of bravery and courage, rather than cowardice, as he was willing to risk his own safety in pursuit of justice and equality. A study by the University of Exeter found that people who conform to social norms are more likely to be perceived as competent, but less likable. This suggests that there is a social bias against those who follow rules, as they may be seen as less likable or interesting than those who deviate from social norms. Yet obedience to rules is essential in maintaining order and discipline in any setting. Rules exist to ensure that everyone follows a set of standards and expectations that are designed to promote safety, fairness, and equality. In this way, being obedient to rules can be seen as a positive trait that promotes stability and structure. Those who are obedient to rules often exhibit a strong sense of responsibility and accountability. They understand that they have a duty to follow the rules and regulations that are in place, and this requires discipline and commitment. They are less likely to engage in risky or dangerous behavior that can harm themselves or others and are more likely to prioritize the well-being of the community. Obedience to rules can also be seen as a sign of respect and consideration for others. Those who follow the rules understand that their actions can have an impact on those around them and are mindful of this when making decisions. This requires empathy and an understanding of the needs and perspectives of others. On the other hand, some may argue that being obedient to rules can be perceived as cowardly because it can come across as lacking in creativity or independence. Those who exhibit this trait may be seen as overly reliant on authority or lacking in the courage to take risks or challenge the status quo. However, it is important to note that being obedient to rules does not necessarily mean being uncreative or unoriginal. It simply means that one is committed to upholding a set of standards and expectations and is willing to take the necessary action to ensure that they are met. According to social identity theory, individuals have a natural tendency to form groups and to categorize others based on shared characteristics. This can lead to a sense of in-group bias, where individuals may see those who follow the same rules and norms as themselves as more likable and trustworthy. However, this bias can also lead to an out-group bias, where individuals who do not follow the same rules and norms may be seen as less likable and less trustworthy. In conclusion, being obedient to rules is an important trait that promotes order, discipline, and accountability. It requires discipline, responsibility, and a strong sense of empathy and consideration for others. While some may perceive those who exhibit this trait as lacking in creativity or independence, it is important to recognize that being obedient to rules does not preclude one from being innovative or daring. Ultimately, those who are obedient to rules are essential to maintaining a just and equitable society. We must challenge our biases and recognize that following rules and norms can be a sign of integrity and responsibility. It is important to understand that breaking rules for the sake of rebellion or defiance is not necessarily a sign of courage, but can instead lead to negative consequences for ourselves and others. If you liked this video, share it and subscribe to this channel.